In Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20, the Apostle Paul tells us that God is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that you could ever ask or think. Other translations of that text use the word imagine. Now, I'll be honest with you, it's good for us to think big and to have a wild imagination. If you're listening to me today and you've always thought small, my friend, let me encourage you. Begin to think big, because when you think small, what you do is you make it hard for God to send big things into your life. Now, I remember growing up as a child, I would always hear people say to me, Nate, you've got a crazy or a wild imagination. But can I tell you something? If you can't ever think it or you can't ever imagine it, then you'll never see it happen in your life. But if you can think it and if you can imagine it, then God will show you that He has the ability and the power to bring it to pass in your life. Now, while I'm talking about imagining or imagination, let me also just say this, that there are people that I hear all the time say, just imagine what God would do if we would just pray a little bit longer. Just imagine what God would do if we would just fast, or if we would just praise a little bit longer. Imagine what God would do if we said this or said that, or if we did this and did that. You know, there's people that will always be talking about imagine this and imagine that. But here's a novel idea from the book of James. In the first chapter of his book, you know what he says? He says, don't just listen, but be a doer of the word of God. Instead of imagining, what he's saying is, instead of imagining what God would do if you did something, start doing it so God can show up and do. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't just want to imagine God do things. I want to see God doing things. And if I want to see God doing things, then I'm going to do my part and I'm going to start doing. I'm not just going to talk about giving, but I'm going to be a giver. I'm not just going to talk about prayer, but I'm going to pray. I'm not just going to talk about fasting, but I'm going to be one who fasts. I'm not just going to talk about praising, but I am going to be a praiser. Listen, my friend, God's not looking for talkers. God's looking for doers. So the question I have for you is this. Do I have any doers listening today on the broadcast? Because if you are a doer, you won't have to imagine what God will do, but you can and you will see the hand of God move in your life. So the word of the Lord for you today as I close this broadcast off is this. Don't be a talker, but be a doer of the word of God in Jesus' mighty name.